In the Disney version of The Little Mermaid, Ariel's a mermaid that's fascinated with human culture, and with her friend Flounder, who's a tropical fish, she collects things from that culture, and receiving inside knowledge about the human culture from a seagull named Scuttle. It would explain why a frog is referred to as a dingle hopper and is used to brush hair. But she is not allowed to go to the surface, a rule clearly made by her father, King Triton, the ruler of Atlantica. And Sebastian the Crab, who is also King Triton's advisor and court composer, emphasizes the rule. She ignores this rule and goes up to the surface to watch the humans and sees Prince Eric celebrating his birthday and soon falls in love with Eric. After finding out about her love for Eric, King Triton destroys almost everything that Ariel has collected from the human world. Two eels convince Ariel to visit the sea witch named Ursula. Ursula promises Ariel that she will give her legs to go to the human world for 3 days to win Eric's heart. But there's a catch. Ariel must give Ursula something in return, and Ursula wants Ariel's voice. Ariel gives Ursula her voice for her selfish wish, and the voice is contained in a shell that Ursula wears around her neck. Eric finds Ariel on the beach and takes her to his castle, and not knowing she was the one who saved his life, Eric and his staff believe that Ariel was a mute shipwreck survivor. At the end of the second day, they almost kissed, thanks to Sebastian's song Kiss the Girl, but her thwarted wife floats a Majestim, Ursula's eels. With that, the second day is over, and Ursula disguises herself as a young woman named Vanessa and appears on shore singing with Ariel's voice and hypnotizes Eric into thinking she was the one who saved him and not Ariel. Ariel finds out that Eric will marry Vanessa, and Scuttle finds out that Vanessa is really Ursula. Sebastian informs King Triton, and Scuttle disrupts the wedding with the help of various animals. In the fray, Ursula's necklace is broken and Ariel gets her voice back. Eric snaps out of the hypnotic state he was in and realizes it was Ariel who saved him, and he runs to kiss her, but the sun set before they could kiss, and Ursula reveals her true form and takes Ariel back to the ocean when she transforms back into a mermaid. King Triton finds Ursula and tells her he'll give the trident to her and take Ariel's place as her prisoner. Before Ursula could use the trident, Eric throws a harpoon at her. Ursula orders her eels to attack Eric, but Ariel attacks Ursula by pulling her hair, causing Ursula to fire the trident upward, killing Flotsam and Jetsam, and enraged Ursula uses the trident to grow into monstrous proportions. Ariel and Eric reunite on the surface just before Ursula grows past and towers over the two. With the entire ocean at her rule, Ursula brought sunken ships to the surface. When Ursula was going to kill Ariel, Eric steers a wrecked ship into Ursula, stabbing her with the ship's splintered bowsprit. With Ursula destroyed, all of Ursula's prisoners, including King Triton, returned to their normal states. Realizing that Ariel truly loves Eric, Triton willingly changes her form from a mermaid into a human and blesses her marriage to Eric. The original tale of The Little Mermaid by Hans Christian Andersen takes place in Denmark, and the Little Mermaid dwells in an underwater kingdom with her father, the Sea King or Mer King, her grandmother, and her 5 sisters. Her 5 sisters are born 1 year apart. When a mermaid turns 15, she's permitted to swim to the surface to watch the world above, and when the sisters become old enough, each of them visits the upper world every year. As each of them returns, the Little Mermaid listens longingly to their various descriptions of the surface and of human beings. When the Little Mermaid's turn comes, she rises up to the surface, sees a ship with a handsome prince, falls in love with him from a distance. A great storm hits, and the Little Mermaid saves the prince from nearly drowning. She delivers him unconscious to the shore near a temple. Here she waits until a young girl from the temple finds him. The prince never sees the Little Mermaid. The Little Mermaid asks her grandmother if humans can live forever and if they could breathe underwater. The grandmother explains that the humans have much shorter lifespan than the merfolk's 300 years, but that when mermaids die, they turn to sea foam and cease to exist, while humans have an eternal soul that lives on in heaven. The little mermaid, longing for the prince to and an eternal soul, eventually visits the sea witch, who sells her a potion that gives her legs in exchange for her voice. The sea witch warns, however, that once she becomes a human, she will never be able to return to the sea. Drinking the potion will make her feel as if a sword is being passed through her. Yet when she recovers, she will have two beautiful legs and will be able to dance like no human has ever danced before. However, it will constantly feel like she's walking on sharp knives, and it will feel as if though they must be bleeding. In addition, she will only obtain a soul if she finds true love's kiss and the prince loves her and marries her, for then a part of his soul will flow into her. Otherwise, at dawn on the first day after he marries another woman, the little mermaid will lie broken-hearted and disintegrate into sea foam. The little mermaid drinks the potion and meets the prince, who is mesmerized by her beauty and grace even though she is mute. Most of all, he likes to see her dance, and she dances for him despite her suffering excruciating pain. When the prince's father orders his son to marry the neighboring king's daughter, the prince tells the little mermaid he will not because he does not love the princess. He goes on to say he can only love the young woman from the temple who believes rescued him. Turns out the princess is the temple girl who had been sent to the temple to be educated. The prince loves her, and the wedding is announced. The prince and the princess marry, and the little mermaid's heart breaks. She thinks of all that she has given up and all of the pain she has suffered. Her despairs, thinking of the death that awaits her, but before dawn her sisters bring her a knife that the sea witch has given them in exchange for their long hair. If the little mermaid slays the prince with a knife and lets his blood drip on her feet, she will become a mermaid again. All the suffering will end, and she will live out her full life. However, the little mermaid cannot bring herself to kill the sleeping prince lying with his bride, and she throws herself into the sea as dawn breaks. Her body is dissolved into foam, but instead of ceasing to exist, she feels the sun, and she has turned into a spirit, a daughter of the air. The other daughters tell her she has become like them because she strove with all her heart to obtain an immortal soul. She will earn her own soul by doing good deeds, and she will eventually rise up into the kingdom of God.